your God power. Get everything you ever wanted and live the life of your dreams. The Master's Course. Copyright 2010 by Richard Lee McKim Jr. All rights reserved. Let the quest for knowing begin. Robert Sullivan, an amateur NDE, which is near-death experience, researcher from Pennsylvania who specializes in NDEs by soldiers during combat, interviewed a World War II veteran who temporarily retained this ability even after he returned to his physical body. He experienced 360-degree vision while running away from a German machine gun nest, says Sullivan. Not only could he see ahead as he ran, but he could see the gunners trying to draw a bead on him from behind. Okay, let's look at this illustration here. Normal reality. You have the physical meaning of the person. Then you have the physical meaning that eyes only see forward. I mean, who doesn't know that? Then you have the physical meaning that seeing requires light in eyes. So that's, everyone knows that. And you get the physical meaning that he only sees what is in front of him. But that's not how it turned out, is it? By God power exercised by a traumatic event. So we got the physical meaning of the persons. Once again, it's neutral. It's not good, it's not bad, it's not anything. It's just a situation with unlimited possible outcomes. Then you have the thought meaning that you can see everywhere. And then the thought meaning that seeing does not require light in eyes. Now you have those two meanings together. Resonance goes into the sea of infinite possible outcomes of the situation. What did you get? The guy was able to see 360 degrees around him, which means he could see everything in a circle around him. He could see in all directions at once. That's a pretty amazing ability, isn't it? See, what happened was, in this example, he had a near-death experience. In the near-death experience, all your limitations drop away because as you become non-physical, as you pop out of your body, and you realize that you're not limited, you can see, because in the non-physical, you don't see forward, you see everything. It's just how it is. You don't have eyes that see forward. You're just infinite. That's how it is. So what happened was, as he came back to life again, he still retained that ability for a short while. And luckily so, because he was being shot at, and he had to not only watch the people trying to shoot him from behind, but he needed to see in front where he was running. So because of the traumatic event, he elicited this ability to be able to see in all directions at once. Here it says the ability has been elicited and activated in his own life experience. Now that's a pretty amazing ability. Can you imagine being able to see around you completely at all times? Now, if our body were truly a physical, functioning machine, mechanism, system, how could you see behind you at the same time as you're seeing in front of you? You got no eyes back there. I mean, some people say, I've heard people say that it's like he had eyes in the back of his head. Well, in this situation, it's like he had eyes in the back of his head, and he did. It's like he had eyes all the way around his head. He could see in all directions at once. Now, the interesting thing is he can remember that. It occurred. It's in his memory. He talked about it. So he was being recorded, and in his memory that it occurred. So how do you reconcile that in your memory? Because with us seeing only forward, we have the vision. We can see forward, but how do you see? How do you remember seeing, and how do you see in the first place all the way around you? What does that look like? How can you see in all directions at once? That's a wild thing. Anyway, here's the green tuning fork. He's eliciting the ability that he can see everywhere. Sure enough, so he can. He's also got the meaning that seeing doesn't require light in eyes, looking forward. Obviously, he was seeing in a different way than with his eyes. And as a result, he elicited the ability. Those other people we saw elicited the ability to see with their fingertips. Another one elicited the ability to see with the nose. Okay? Out of the sea of possibilities, one saw with fingertips, one elicited seeing with the nose, one elicited with armpits. This guy elicited being able to see all the way around. Do you see? Do you realize that there's an infinite number of possible outcomes of any situation? And that you could elicit anything that you want to? Look at this. They had the different meanings. If he had the meaning that I can see the back of my shoulders, he could get the same effect. But he elicited 360-degree vision, so that way he could see all the way around him in case there were people on the sides trying to shoot him. It's whatever your meaning is, you elicit that ability out of the infinite that's possible. It's all based on your meaning. So if you always stay with the meaning that I can't do this, I can only see forward, I can only see with my eyes, if you stay with the meanings that you now have for your reality, you will always still have the reality you have. That's all. That's simple. But if you realize with your God power that you can change the meanings of the situation, you can say, hold it, I can do this or I can do that. Then you begin to elicit amazing responses from the infinite that are possible. In the situation, there's not just one outcome possible. The one outcome that says I see with my eyes and I see forward, that's just one possibility. And if that's what you think, then that's the only possibility you will elicit. As you can see, it's all possible. Anything is possible. What is 360-degree vision? It means that you can see everywhere around you at the same time. How is that possible when you only have eyes in your face and your face is only pointed in one direction at a time? Does this meet our definition of reality? Remember that we said, let's call reality that which someone can experience. If someone can experience it, it's reality. Well, it was real for the man who needed to save himself from being killed. Therefore, I would call it reality, his reality. The reason this 360-degree vision can even happen is that you don't see with your eyes. You don't process vision with your brain. In fact, nothing actually happens in the body at all. It is only our representation of experience in this make-believe physical reality. After all, if you are going to be able to see in this physical reality, you have to have some physical reality justification and explanation of how and why that can happen. If the body, more specifically the eyes, were really seeing and it really was a physical process, then the only way anyone could see would be through a light-focused lens system that converted light waves into nerve signals that were processed in the brain into a picture. But since earlobes, fingertips, armpits, tips of noses don't have the necessary physical processes to see, it stands to reason that seeing is actually accomplished in some other way that is not physical in nature.
To continue, go to How to Use Your God Power, chapter number 10, segment number 16. Let your quest for knowing continue.